Gates of Orchid and Iris is brought to you by listeners like you. Thank you. Remember to like, share, comment, review, and subscribe to our podcast. Hello, this is Gates of Orchid and Iris. I am the GM, Paul. And who is playing tonight?
This is Sebastian, Cbass, and I'm playing Ikoma Chusei.
This is Gatts, and I'm playing Kaio Suko.
This is Ludo, and I'll be playing Matsu Erika.
This is Rachel, and I am playing Kuni Suiko.
I'm Mason, I'm playing Shishiro Saika.
I'm Kay, and I will be playing various NPCs today.
The month of Tiger holds on to its grip of winter, but the days of sun become more frequent. Spring is coming, and the Winter Court has officially sent out the orders to many samurai, so they can start to travel before the coming of the new year. We fly over the Crablands, a place with a mix of beautiful, desolate, and disfigured landscapes. Green, brown, and even gray and withering plants can be seen dotted across this area. Then there is the Wall. It is known by many names: Kayukabe, the Carpenter's Wall, or just the Wall. It extends from the ocean and roams into the interior of the Emerald Empire. Along the Wall are the many soaring watchtowers that loom over both the Emerald Empire and the land on the other side. This barricade separates the Emerald Empire from the dark, twisted, and tainted terrain of the Shadowlands and all the denizens that lay beyond the Wall. We focus more north in the Kaiu territory of the Crablands. We see a small town and it getting ready for the New Year's celebration. We turn the corner, go up a slight hill, and we see the house of Kaio Suko. So it's nearing the end of the year. New Year's celebrations are either being prepared or starting. And in the Crablands, they're not like as boisterous as we know it. So where would you be? Who would you be with? And are you like alone? Are you with someone?
Ideally, I would be somewhere where I would be crafting things. So if there's a forge or a workshop, if I had any kind of downtime, that's where I'd be spending it. Either that, or I would probably be training on combat on how to protect the Wall and the people of our lands. And as far as if there's someone around, I prefer to be alone when I'm working. But I'm not avoiding people.
All right. Let's just say you're in a workshop.
Mm-hmm.
You are smithing, I suppose?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. You're alone in the workshop smithing. This area isn't too big. Like most other places in the Crablands, space is a commodity, and things seem to be a little bit smaller. If there is any ornate decoration, it's probably somebody's personal touches. What would, first, your workshop look like? If this is your workshop.
I mean, so it would either be one, my parents' old workshop, or two, I'd be working in somebody else's workshop, apprenticing,
Mm-hmm.
I assume they wouldn't give me my own at this point, but that'd be cool if they did. It would probably be fairly tidy as far as you can in a small cramped cave. And it would just be set up for maximum efficiency, minimum comfort. If that makes sense.
Oh, that makes sense. That is the statics. Statics, no. aesthetics of the crab right there.
So yeah, even if I like have to hunch over and like scraping an arm on some rocks, like as long as I can hit that hammer at the right angle faster, that's all that matters.
And what does your character look like? By the light of the forge, what can we see?
Well, you can definitely see sweat glistening down her face. She's a female. You can tell she's been in front of the forge plenty. Her skin's gotten kind of thick from the heat and from the wear and tear on her hands and arms. But yeah, coming off the forge's glow, she's dirty face and hands because she's working. But interestingly, her armor and gear is polishing like glass. It is super, super shiny. Not the best quality gear, but is extraordinarily polished.
So it's like the only thing that's glowing in this room.
The embers and her armor. Yep.
The most important things in one's life. We see you standing there. We probably have you zoom out from like the doorway because this is a small room. We see a figure. Who would disturb your peace?
Oh, one of the elders. Whether it would be someone, like uncle, grandparent, someone who was kind of keeping an extra eye on me after, my parents weren't doing that anymore. If that makes sense.
That makes total sense.
I mean, besides that, it could also be a peer, someone else from a similar age group who is kind of finishing up their school as well.
I think that what they have, it's probably. Let's see. Let's see what your character sheet and 20 questions say. Do you have a master really? No. I'm gonna say it's your grandfather.
Cool.
And we'll name them. Oh, that's a good name. They are Caillou, Katsunan, and we see their large figure coming to the screen, and they have what looks to be a very well folded, intricate letter with a seal, and it catches the light of the forge, and it's a royal seal. They come up to you, and they wait. Would you notice them, or is your character too much into the
into the work?
Yeah, into the zone.
I mean, that's a good question. Soko would definitely try and be the type of person who's aware of their surroundings at all time, especially given her past and her time near and around the wall. But at the same time, she does get into her work a lot. So if this workshop is somewhere she feels completely secure, like if it's isolated, like there's plenty of guards, she'd hear commotion coming, then she would get into her work and maybe get in the zone. So whether I would notice Grandpa would really depend on a couple things. One, whether like the location and security of this workshop. If it's somewhere where a threat might be imminent or there might be backstabbing people or anything like that, then I would definitely keep eyes in the back of my head. If it felt somewhere safe, then I might let my guard down a bit. If Grandpa was trying to be quiet and kind of sneak in, I wouldn't notice. The other thing is if Grandpa went clink clink walking in with crab armor, I'd be like, yeah, there's Grandpa.
I think Grandpa is a big enough man and wears enough stuff that he'd probably like clank around. But this place is probably further away from the wall for reasons.
Yep.
And it is your safe space. It's probably I am gonna say it's like your parents' old forge. Okay. And since, family units and everything, your grandfather has all their estate
Right.
and stuff again. So
Cool. So what I'd do then is I'd probably do the last few hammers on the heated metal until it cooled off a bit, and I would definitely, put my stuff away and then address my grandpa very formally.
mhm. And once you notice him and lock eyes, he gives you a polite, not like super low bow. It's just a polite,
It's an
maybe even
acknowledgement.
yeah. It's probably like he nods like from, well, not nods, bows from the shoulders instead of doing a full
Yeah.
bow, because you're a family, you're his granddaughter,
It's grandpa.
you're his granddaughter. He's your
Mhm.
grandpa. Yeah.
Yep, and I do my full like grandpa bow after of course I don't want to bow with hot things, so as I mentioned, I put that away and then I do a formal bow and introduction. And God, what did we call him again? Katsu-san or Katsunan. Okay. So yeah, I greet him and I check definitely how is his armor looking? Is it shiny and polished?
This sounds like a great time to do a small roll.
Mm-hmm.
This would probably be a water, either smithing or aesthetics.
Not aesthetics. It would definitely be smithing.
Gates of Orchid and Iris will return in a moment.
Welcome to Cultural Explorations. During this gameplay break, we shall explore the tea houses of China and Japan. In China, tea houses, called Cha Guan, date back to the Western Jin dynasty and further developed during the Tang and Song dynasties. Tea houses are known for being spaces for socializing, holding meetings, and enjoying entertainment such as storytelling, chess, opera arias sung without makeup or acting, and puppet shows, just to name a few. Decorations depends on the tea house style and location, though you can typically find calligraphy, paintings, and flowers. A Qing tea house, mostly seen in Beijing, is known for having pergolas for enjoying tea outside with nature, except during the cold months of winter. Tai Chi tea houses are known in Hangzhou for their cha dao, or tea ceremony. Other beverages, such as plum blossom wine, papaya juice, and stewed plum water, are also served along with foods like soups, dumplings, and small snacks. Today's tea houses still hold deep cultural significance, and China boasts over 25,000 of them. In Japan, there are two types of tea houses. The first are called chashitsu, or tea brew. These are the standalone buildings you can find in parks or the countryside where tea ceremonies, commonly called chado or way of tea, are held. The single room is lined with tatami mats and has an alcove for a wall scroll of calligraphy, poetry, or painting, and flowers done in chabana style, arrangement specific to chado. You can also find chashitsu inside personal homes, temples, castles, and other buildings. They are only used for chado and always lined with tatami mats. The second type are called ochaya, or tea house. These are not public tea houses like those found in China, but are exclusive establishments. Business is built upon trust, and anyone who wishes to join an ochaya must be introduced by an existing patron. These are typically located within geisha districts known as hanamachi, as geisha and maiko provide the entertainment. Ochaya are used for business meetings, political meetings, and social gatherings, with geisha providing entertainment, conversation, and serving drink and food. Today, ochaya are dwindling in number. A few have opened to tourists as a way to stay open, but most still hold their exclusivity. One of the oldest and indeed most famous ochaya is Ichiriki Chaya, or 1 strength tea house, located in the Gion district of Kyoto. It has stayed exclusive through its 300 years and is the setting for the famous story 47 Ronin. A small note to make: the name for tea ceremony probably sounded pretty similar. That is because the spelling is nearly identical. Chadao is spelled Chadao and is 2 words. Chado is a single word and the A is removed. This is likely because tea ceremony was introduced to Japan from China via Buddhist monks, mainly Isai. In 1187, Isai traveled to China to study philosophy and religion for 20 years. He brought back with him tea, the foundations for tea ceremony, and he founded Zen Buddhism in Japan. Thank you for listening. Want to know more about tea or tea houses? Visit our Patreon for longer explorations and other rewards. And now, back to our story.
Those of you who are listening, unlike D&D, you roll a ring, and the rings are air, earth, fire, water, and void. And these all represent different things. And since we're doing a check that basically, the character's overlooking something, so kind of like a perception check in D&D, we're going to use water because that's how you survey things. And then you also roll an amount of dice for the skill you're going to use. In this case, it's smithing. And the smithing skill is used for, well, as it sounds like, things that have to do with smithing.
Yep. Armor, weapons, gear.
And then the GM, after asking for the roll, will ask for a target number, a TN. And this is a fairly easy thing, seeing that... Have we even said your name yet? No. Gatts' character, let's just leave it at that. It's a fairly easy thing because, well, they're a crab. They have been like an apprentice and stuff. They have gone through their coming of age. And they should be like fairly good at seeing like really obvious damage. So it's going to be a TN2. Opportunities do matter and extra successes.
Okay. So I have a passion called Armament, and I'm going to review that really quickly because I don't remember. I know that if I do stuff with this, I get to remove some strife, which I should also ask. Am I starting out with some strife?
I'm going to say no. This is a new session, a new day. We haven't even began to get into the story yet, so...
Good. I'm just good.
Yeah.
Okay. And then with passions, do you get any type of bonuses to rolls? I do not remember.
I think with passions...
It's just recovering strife, right?
Yeah.
Because I thought it was distinctions you get to reroll and then passions. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, if I remember right, the passions, it's you just remove some strife because it's something that you love. Something that brings you peace. And you remove three strifes.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, I'm going to. This is my one of my passions is armament. And I will roll and let's see if I did this right.
Actually, I will give you an advantage on that because it is your grandfather's armor. It is something you've seen like every day of your life.
He might have even, I'm not sure, but he might have even had me polish it for him a few times.
Yeah, so it's
busy.
A very familiar piece of armor. So I will give you that much.
All right, and then when I do have advantage on it, does that mean
You can roll any 2 dice without success on it, or with
So I can reroll
without
2. Correct?
reroll 2.
Okay.
Oh,
Cool.
that's even better. So
And then I can keep up to 3. Correct.
yes, you can keep up to the ring that you rolled from.
Okay. And
So
let me double check what my rings are. Oh, I think my water's only 2. So I only get to keep 2.
mhm.
So TN of 2, so I would just keep the 2 successes then.
Nice. You look over the armor, and it has the usual patch jobs on it, and they don't look like they have been worn or worsened.
Mm-hmm.
There's no obvious large cracks. It looks like your grandfather's armor. Old, battle ready, and well used, much like your grandfather.
Cool. So Grandpa's grandpa.
Mm-hmm.
After looking to that, I would look at him, not necessarily the letter. I'd be trying not to look at the letter. Does he seem distressed? Does he seem at peace?
His expression is a mixture of things. It's a little joyful.
Mhm.
It's a little fearful. But it's kind of overbrimming with pride, though. And he does give you a smile. And
Okay.
he's definitely trying to hold back tears. And he holds up the letter. And holds it up so you can see the seal on it.
And I'm assuming I recognize that's probably a Royal Magistrate seal.
Yeah, you do recognize this is a direct, seal of the Empire. So this is definitely orders.
Big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Mm-hmm. And I'll look very serious and expectant.
No, Zuko, you might think this is for me, but no, this time this is for you. And he cups it in both hands and holds it out towards you.
I definitely, Suko would blink quite a few times. She was just in her workshop, minding her own business, and she would compose herself and reach out to very respectfully take the letter. Shall we open it now?
He's trying to hold back his excitement. He's also trying to hold back some tears because he doesn't know what's in it. It's obviously hasn't been tampered with, that you can tell. And he watches you very expectantly.
So I'll take out a dagger unless there's one nearby already, and I'll carefully kind of loosen the wax enough so I can open the letter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to tear it up.
Well, and the letter is not only is it wax sealed, but it's also in origami form, in the shape of a chrysanthemum. So it's very fancy. And if anybody did try to open it before it got to where it needed to go, it probably would have ripped if they weren't ultra careful.
Got it. So yeah, I as carefully as I can, which probably not the most careful, given that I have blacksmith hands / workshop hands. Unravel this thing, and I'll read it aloud so that Grandpa can hear it.
And it says that for your efforts along the wall, and from good words from not only your family, the family champion and the clan champion, you are ordered to go to the city of Ryoko Owari to becoming your Riki of the new Emerald Magistrate.
And so I read that, and then I look to Grandpa. Like, how does Grandpa feel about this?
He's floored. You can tell that if he wasn't a strong individual, he might just be in tears. Like, you can see a little lining of tears on the bottom of one of his eyes because of the lighting.
So I put on a huge smile, and I look very excited, and it's like this is amazing. And then I look to him, and I kind of gesture a little bit like, Grandpa, do you want a hug from your granddaughter? I don't rush and hug him, but kind of gesture, and if he seems like he might reciprocate at all, then I will totally hug him.
Yeah, he first looks around and sees that you guys are totally alone, and he comes up, and he is a massive man,
way bigger than me.
Yeah, he's much bigger than you, and gives you a hug that lifts you off the ground.
Awesome.
You've been noticed. This is so good. You've done so well.
I just want to do my family and the clan proud.
And you have. And he smiles. Like, it doesn't happen often, but he does have a large smile on his face.
Yep. And I start looking around the workshop and looking to him, like, what should I bring?
He looks around. You can't bring the forge. That's a little too heavy.
I mean, we could build something to transport it, but that'll take time.
Yeah, and it looks like they want you there as soon as you can be there. Looks like we'll have to pack a trunk or something. I mean, traveling lightly is good. And it is an Emerald Magistrate, so they must have a forge or something there. And
I assume the city's accommodations are good, but I've never traveled this far away from the wall.
Well, we'll have to figure out transport, and he starts just kind of going around the room. You've never seen him this unsure of situations. Like, this is one of those times where he's like, he doesn't quite know what to do. And as long as you've known him, he's always been there for you. He's always had an answer to give you, even if it's been the wrong one. And he's just kind of like walking around in circles, picking up an object, shrugging, putting it down. He's excited, and you can also tell he's a little bit sad because you are going away.
Yeah. And I've been pretty looked after.
Yeah, you've had eyes on you for a while. How old is Kayusuko?
I mean, she's probably only like 16, honestly, at this point. She's grown up very, very within the Caillou family, has not ventured really anywhere besides the wall and the nearby villages that she would be working at or living at. And like, she's a kid.
Thank you for listening to Gates of Orchid and Iris. Remember to share, comment, and rate us where you can. If you're listening on YouTube, subscribe, like, and hit that bell notification button. Support this podcast by either going to our Anchor.fm page and hitting the listener support button, or supporting us through Patreon. On Patreon, the $1 level not only will help improve this podcast, but you will receive an extended version of the cultural exploration segments monthly. And we have a lot of other fun things planned for Patreon.